Well, geez. All right. Well, I need to build a bot to accept like invoices from the asset store to get Infinity PBR users auto set up. Who's Curly Hair? And how are you a friend of the show? I don't think this is a real friend of the show. I only have a couple friends of the show. Look at all you nice people. I'd love to see this number over 1,000. Wouldn't that be cool? That's a goal. I should make that a goal of mine. All right, let's get back to the coding. I'm not sure exactly where I cut out. I was talking up a storm, but at some point I cut out. But you know, I'll just keep going. So let's see. Is this working? No, I need to reset this. Close tab. Open it again. All right. So now it's working. Buttons are nicer. So I think I want to get rid of this whole thing and make it just a other type of label. Create the structure. Create the structure. Okay, so it's right here. Instead of a message box, I'm just going to do label and for all the item dictionaries here, select individual item objects to set content values. All right, and for the next thing we're going to do is attributes. I'm also going to do here manage adding and removing item attribute settings for all item objects here. Add options unique to individual item objects. We should probably do this, and same with here. I guess I should say actually select individual jewel item objects to add unique item attribute settings. And stats and skills is to do. All right, gotta close this and reset it. Okay. Let's see. That's better. Should only one be open at a time? I kind of like the idea that only one is open at a time, because it gets very cluttered otherwise. So let's do that too. And this means that, what does this mean? How would I change my code then? To do that, to accomplish that, I would have to change my code, because now that means whenever this turns true, then these two have to turn false. So, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Alright, item attributes. Dictionaries is good. Item attributes. This needs to word wrap. We need to make sure we word wrap, so manage adding, and this is going to be word wrap. It's going to be false and true. And same with this one, even though it's not technically getting to the edge in this view, it might in some views. And then reset. Alright, there we go. Alright, so item attributes. I'm gonna need more coffee. Be right back. Go get yourself some more coffee or water or something. I'm back. Oh, I went from like 2 viewers to 0 viewers. I realized there might be viewers, but my tracker says 0. It did say 2 before I went to get more coffee. Gosh, gotta keep the customers satisfied, keep the entertainment going. I just burnt my throat on coffee. All right, so we don't have a drawer, not drawer, but a drawer. For the item attributes yet. So we need to do that because dictionary is using a drawer and it's very convenient. Item attributes over here works well, but it's not using a drawer. So we need to create a drawer. So first we're going to migrate this to that drawer. And to do that, we're going to start by creating what we need for the drawers. So the dictionary has key value drawer editor and the drawer and the key value itself. We have on our items scripts item, or rather item attribute. It's a scriptable object. Actually, let's check the code first. Let's make sure that we. I think I want to do a drawer. Because certainly this could be used in other ways. So I think that means we need a drawer. So if we go to our editor script for item object editor, oops, and then go back to one of our objects, we can see that we are doing show item attributes and then doing the header and these down here. Oops. So I guess yeah, I guess showing this would make sense. Showing everything underneath this gray label, the buttons essentially. So that's going to be item types and attributes, and these are just currently here. It's not complicated code or anything, but it can't be repeated from other scripts through this drawer mechanism. So I think I need to do an item attribute drawer, and so we're going to copy the structure of that from over here where we have a key value drawer and dictionary drawer. So we need a script that's a drawer and an editor script that is a drawer editor. So we'll put that here, the script here. My mouse stopped working. There we go. Item attribute drawer, and then in our editor create a script. Item, once it comes up, item attribute drawer editor, and we will open both of these up and fix them. And drawer, and we're gonna copy the key value drawer and key value drawer editor. Drawer editor. There we go. So key value drawer. It's just an interface. I'm gonna copy just all these. Close and close, and we're going to call this item attribute drawer. And then for this one, oops, we're going to similarly do just copy all this top stuff and close off, delete that, and it's going to be item attribute and item attribute drawer. Okay. All right. Now the other, the dictionary drawers have one other thing, which I don't think we need, but let me check. Dictionary. Up here we have, no, not that one. Scripts, we have this script, which I don't think we need. Item attribute. So it's going to be an item attribute drawer. And this is where we'll essentially do what we did here over there, which is draw. We need this. So we're going to start with the simple thing. What we need is just draw. That's might be the only thing we need for, I'm not sure. We might need a little bit more, but so the drawer interface is going to have a draw, and I don't know. Well, we'll do the structure. I'm going to rename that just to be structure. We don't need the key value. All right, and then back in our item attributes, we're going to click here and import the missing ones. So now we have the draw, and then here import missing ones as well. So if we follow this pattern down here, we need to do item attribute drawer, attribute drawer, and we have to set that up. And to set that up, we do where do we set that up? Oh, we pass that in. Oh, okay, so we do need that in the here we need to do item attribute drawer, item attribute drawer, and we will pass that into our other draws here. So that's how we pass that in. It's going to be this and structure. So draw this item attribute. Oh, nope. This is only a single item attribute. We need all the item attributes. So this has to live on a different, somewhere else. It will have to live well from our editor or item objects editor. Let's see, editor. We have our item attributes. Show item attributes. Hey Ram, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Always appreciate a subscribe. And well, wondering if we put that on item object. Yeah, I think we just put it here instead. Let's try that. So similar to this, I think, yeah, where we have on our dictionary drawer, a new key one, we do a set here. So so on our object editor, we're going to need something similar to this and something similar to this. And it's going to be item attribute drawer underscore item attribute drawer. And this will set it. If it's not null, return. Otherwise, attribute drawer. And field width, we're going to set this private field width equals 150. It's going to be an int. Oh, we already have that set. Okay, never mind. What's the difference here? Ah, editor. Drawer editor. So we're doing this dot field width, okay. And we need to have that variable here because it's not currently set here. So private int field width. Okay, so that's our setup. This is our draw. And on item object, we need to call this. And we're going to change the name too, but where do we call it here? Show common dictionary. Do we call it more places? Yeah, so whenever we're showing common dictionary, and showing common dictionary happens when we're drawing the item object. So for here, set item attribute drawer, and we are going to call this show item attributes. And we'll call that here. So this will, if it's already set, we're not going to do anything. Otherwise, we will set it and create a new one. And that should allow it to display the drawer. Let's just see what happens when we click in a weapon object here. Item attributes there. Okay. So I guess it seems no errors. Obviously, we haven't really changed the bulk of the code yet. But let's do that now. Okay, so we do that here, and all right, all this part right here is going to go into that drawer. So let's go to our drawer and copy it over. So not here, the editor, and attribute drawer editor. We're going to have to copy all these and just see what happens. We're gonna have to do a lot of edits on these, but let's brute force it, if that's the right term. All right. So we have those. This object. So that's one thing. The undo record doesn't work in this flow, so we need to move that to be up here now. Leave here. But I'm not sure. Okay. So what we're really doing, and maybe actually put it above here, this might be better, but we're going to be doing item attribute drawer.draw, and we need to pass in the drawer and whether that's going to be passed in automatically. So item attribute drawer, I think that would work. And then label older below, just to keep that going. We won't remove that yet. I want to see it duplicated. All right, so nothing's happening now. We got all these bugs though, that could be why. So we're going to remove the undo settings from this whole thing. Undo, two more, undo. Where's the, no more undo, okay. And then probably, excuse me, we're probably gonna have to pass some things in here. So object name, for instance, or probably item object. So if I say up here we have item object, this object, we'll just call it item object since we can now. And if I pass these in here and pass these into here, and then change all of this object to item object. So I'll do this object, and then I will do the magic here, item object. Okay. Then we will do width, field width. Okay. Alright, so we need to have a scroll position. We could probably save that up here. So this is a vector 2. And we need this method, get object types. I believe, however, we have a new way of doing that. That's better. Where does this live? It also lives here, doesn't it? Okay. Maybe we don't have a better way. Other ones, do they do that? They do not. I think editor utilities. So maybe I'm missing this. Nope. Ah, maybe I just haven't moved that over here. Get item object types. I think I did. I just named it something different. Yeah, it's... I get excuse me. So the difference here is get item attribute types. That's what we're really looking for here, not object types. And it's already listed up here. Okay. And that appears to be the exact same code. So we will instead here say get item attribute types. And that is using the editor utilities. All right. Let's look. It looks like we are missing members. So let's go back to our drawer. And we passed in now this, so we need to add that here. And on the other, oh yeah, because we're not doing a third class. We're doing it here. So we are passing in this item object. All right. See if anything just magically works. Or what? Errors. Aha. So we need to remove this because these are no longer going to draw themselves. So I can move that. All right, older below, good. Look, we got that, we got that. Now, let's see what happens when we do this. Oh shit, it worked. So both methods work. It appears. Perfect. Okay, since we did that and it works, we can remove it from the original. So that means our item object editor can remove all of these, and then we can remove all of these gray ones that are not being used, and those aren't being used, I think. And this isn't being used. And this isn't being used. So all of these can go away. And live somewhere else. There we go. So now all of our item objects. There is something stuck in my throat. I am so sorry. And no amount of coffee and coughing seems to do the trick. All right, but now all of our attributes on individual ones works, which is great. Next, though, is managing all of them. So if we go to this, we're going to have to reset it again. So I'm going to just close the tab and then open it again. We want this view. I'll bring up the weapon one since there's a lot more to view. We want this view here, but when you press these buttons, it's going to affect all of the objects of that type, which means it needs to display them differently. Because if there is something that's quest item, like if a couple of them are set to quest item and a couple aren't, I want to make sure it says, hey, warning, there's a couple that are set here, not all, so don't turn it all on or all off, or you'll remove that stuff. I should also check the undo. Okay, undo seems to work, so that's good. Okay. Okay, paste seems to work too. Undo paste seems to work as well. That's good. All right. All right. So to do that on this view, so that means that this editor window, wherever it is, if it's still here, seems to have gone away. We don't need this up. We want those. We don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Window. So on here, we're going to need, similar to the item object editor, we're going to need one of these to put next to the other drawer. And yeah, we'll do another item attribute drawer, new item attribute drawer editor. So we'll set that on awake just like we do with the dictionary one. Do we use it elsewhere? And just on the drawing. And that's going to be up here. So here then we'll do item drawer dot draw, pass itself in, and null and true. Okay, so the reason I'm passing the item object in is we're not doing a specific item object. It's going to throw errors because what we really need to do is parse out what it means when we draw and this whole structure equals true thing. So we're not going to show the same stuff here. What we're going to do is if structure, then we're going to structure, then we're going to do draw structure. And that's going to be a different thing. But we're going to pass in the drawer, and that's it. So let's put that here. Draw structure. Close it off and remove all this other stuff. All right, so I'll put a comment here. items. This draws the item attribute window for individual item objects. And on this one, this draws the item attribute window for the entire structure with a different view. Well, hello, party people indeed. It's Jason, Athena's owl. Nice to see you both. You've been ill. I'm glad you're feeling better today. Jason, I've been working up a storm on all this drawer stuff. So, pretty exciting stuff. So thank you for delaying my forward progress by making my backward progress better. Let's see. All right, so for the drawing of the structure, it's going to be very similar to the regular structure. It's just going to show things differently. And I think we can show this. Actually, let's see. No, we'll do a different one. Structure. So we'll just make a version of this that's just different enough, because it doesn't need an item object. And item attributes, we don't need this button. We don't need the paste button. We don't need the color changes. We don't need a row. And we don't need to spit this out either. So it's really just bare bones. And I need to reset. This whole resetting thing is not a huge hassle, just slight annoyance. Oh, interesting. Wait a minute. So it's going to look like this in the end. But somehow it's showing twice. Let's see. I want to close that. Won't let me close this. Won't let me click. Alright, now I can click. Close that tab. Open that tab. Dock that tab. Click that tab. Error that tab. Why is it showing twice? It's showing both of these. And it should not be. Ah. Return. So I think what I do instead is just draw a structure. Instead of that, so here, yeah, just do draw structure and pass that. So that means we do need to adjust this to create a new one. That's just that, and draw structure. And then on the editor here we have that. So everyone has what they want. Moving away from Unity, huh? Wait, you got a job, so that's cool. Congratulations. I would imagine that there's value in knowing both Unity and Unreal. If you're able to really get to know both of them, then you would be a prime candidate for a lot of positions that require knowledge of both of them, like someone porting their project from one to another, or just being able to get a job at studios that work with either or in some cases both. I would imagine there's some studios that use both. So I would bet that there's a huge amount of value in learning both and not choosing one over the other. Yeah. You know, since I've never really had to use a Windows PC in my life, I really don't know how to use one. Like, obviously I know how to use a computer for the most part, but there's differences between Macs and PCs, similar in some ways between Unreal and Unity, to the point where whenever I do have to use a Windows PC, I get kind of a headache. And it's annoying because I want to get a PC here, but I don't want to deal with just all that stuff. I don't know. Oh, so you've got some base knowledge already. That's good. When I load up Unreal, I'm like lost completely. So I don't think we need the second item attributes there, because we got it up here. So the header, I think we don't even need. We just need to show these two. So that's interesting. But on the drawer here, we don't need the header structure at all. So we can axe that, get rid of an entire method. But we do need these, and these are going to be structure versions of them, because they are going to act very differently, show very differently, and whatnot. So let's start with the types and go here and just make a copy of this and then edit it as we need to, see what we can cut out. So I'm not going to give the option of showing and hiding the top. So we're just going to call this a label. Yeah, just a label. We'll do true. I think that will make it bold. Yeah. So item object types, and no option for that. Okay, so get item attribute types. Item attribute type. So the background color and content color is now going to be based on whether none of them have them, all of them have them, or a mixture. Or rather, I'm going to just comment these out for now because I don't think it's going to be a button per se. I think instead, oh yeah, so we're redoing the whole thing probably. We're going to instead do a label and call this item attribute type, and then do a start row and end row, and then underneath that row we will say label gray, and used in X objects or item objects of type of this type. Okay, and this will be, we'll replace that, and then here we're gonna have buttons for set to all and set to none. So I guess what we need to find out this value first. So to find out that value, this is probably an editor utilities task. And we could say public static int get or count item objects with item attribute of type. That's a mouthful. But let's see if this works. I'm going to need to pass in a type string object type. And this be more specific here. It's going to be item object type. And we also need string item attribute name. And then get item object array object of array of type. Do we have array of type? No. Get item object. Oh, I did have one. Okay. So get item object type. Get the object array, and then where x dot has attribute. I guess we're passing in item attribute. I can make another one there. Item attribute name, and then string attribute name. If item attribute contains where x dot x item attribute, no. So attribute types. It's types. Object name. First, default. Do if return true, else return false. And this is interesting. First or default. Oh, I see. This is also like a where. Okay. So first or default where x object name equals attribute name. Return true. Okay. Then okay. That should work. And so has attribute count item objects with item attribute of type dot count dot to array dot count return. And maybe we don't need that part. And tell me oh, interesting, a different way of doing it. So get item type of array of that type, count, of course, count where. So instead of me doing the where, let this do the where has attribute that name. Okay. So next step is going back to my drawer, saying var use count equals this, and it's going to need the item object type. We're going to have to pass that in, and item attribute type. So we're going to have to pass this in, I think, as a string. Which means we need it here too. Which means we need it here too. And here. And is that what we used? Yeah, it appears to be. All right, let's see if that goes cray-cray. Aha. Used in X objects of this type. All right, I should have changed that, but that's okay. Used in, oh yeah, not here, it's in the drawer. Used in use count. Or try to do the fancier way. Used in use count of this type. And we will put buttons based on those values. Clearly, though, this is not going right. And object type. So it's not getting the right count here, because I know that these, I mean, if we look at the inspector, we can see that these are being used. So, the count is wrong. So first we're getting the item object array of this type, and then I'm just gonna spit this out over here. Objects of this type. We'll just do a straight count. And then log. Oops. We are passing in the type. That could be why. Has attribute type. Or not has a can take attribute type. Attribute name with item attribute. Okay, I gotta change that. Item attribute type. Okay, so the number that can take that attribute type. That's what we're really looking for here. The other method should be saved. Item attribute name has attribute, and pass that, because that's equally valid, but we need to rename one of these. So count item objects that can take objects of type that can take item attribute type. Okay, and this is going to be count item objects of type that can take item attribute. And then I like how it does spell checking even in the middle of this long method name. And then on here, we are going to call that count item objects of type that can take item attribute type. It's a long method name. Is that too long? Could be. It's very descriptive though. All right, let's see if that works. I have to close this again. And open it again. Dock it again. And it seems to be, let's go weapons. That's the one we've been working on. There we go. That's what we want to see. All right. So we can remove this debug. Now we need to show the buttons. So there's going to be, well, it just disappeared, but let me just map it out here. There's going to be a button. If it's used in all, then there's going to be a, well, if it's used in more than 0, it's going to be a button. There's going to be buttons for, yeah. Okay, this is what we'll do. Change this label, so it's going to be if, so, content color, use count equals 0, question mark, use, if it's 0, use count is greater than 0, question mark, use count is equal to count item objects of type, item object type. If it's equal to all, then we will say color.white. If it's equal to not 0 but not all, we'll do color.yellow, and otherwise color.gray, as in none. So we need this here, and then we will do label. Hello, Fredo. How are you? Fredo? It's Fredo, right? Not Fredo. I just said it wrong. I don't know. Could be either one. Do we not have a count item objects of type? I think we do. But I could just say get item objects of type, array of type dot length. But I want to do count of type. Public static int string item object type, and we will return get item objects object array of type item object type dot count x dot length x dot length. We don't need anything else, right? Length. Yeah. And then we will do one other string use count string question mark equals do that again. So if it's all, then we'll say all item objects, or just all. Otherwise, if it's in the middle, we will say use count dot toString. Otherwise, used in no. And then here we will say use count string. Let's see if that works. Close this, and to make sure we have at least a couple that are used in some, I'm going to take away condition on these two. And let's see what spits out. Ooh, I see colors. These aren't working, right? You have to reset the color too. Oh. Maybe I got the logic wrong here. Okay. So if it's above 0, then it will then ask if it's equal to that. And that should be all. False means it's above 0, but it's not equal to that, so it should be yellow. Otherwise, it should be gray. But it almost appears like it's not doing that. Like it's doing the opposite. Oh, I'm looking at class, not weapons. Every time this resets, it starts with class again. And that's what's confusing me. Okay, weapon. All right. So use in 6 item objects of this type weapon. And magic spells. Okay. Okay. So I think I will do is add should never nest those statements. Which confusion was I feeling? These? I like nesting them. It reminds me of my BigQuery queries in the day job. Gotta reheat this coffee / fill it up. Be right back. It's cold. This is the time of year that I start complaining about the weather. Just so you all know. It's one of my most favorite things to do is to complain about the weather and then look at the weather in Hawaii and think, wait, that's perfect. Well, I mean, I was confused about this, and that's why I was like, wait, it's not lining, so I just had to double check, but, I mean... I'm okay with it. I mean, it's only three options. If it were like 10 options, yes, that would be cray-cray. So 2 things. 1, I exaggerate. I really don't like being cold, so I exaggerate. But 2, I live like 45-minute drive out of San Francisco in an area that's actually in the summertime very hot. But in this time of year, it's 63 degrees outside, and it's probably like 68 or 69 inside. Oh, it's 90 there, huh? It's going to be warmer later today in the 70s, and then later this week will be in the 80s. So it's just getting to that point where our last day of 90s was like 6 days ago. Last Monday was 91. And I think that could be the last one until we get a weird, just like summer, where it suddenly gets warm for a week for some reason. Aside from that, hot summer's over. We'll still have warm weather during the day. But since I really don't like being cold, like right now my feet just feel cold and are kind of not numb, but I get cold easily, so I complain about it. The ideal weather is in Kihei, Maui, Hawaii. Right now the lows are 72, the highs are 83. Whether it's rain or sun, it's the same, and it's perfect. That's the perfect temperature range. For those of you who are in Celsius, it's warm to warm, and it's perfect. And one day my goal is to move to Hawaii and just stay there forever. I should create a coding compound where people can come to focus on their projects in the nice weather of Hawaii, and that would pay the rent for whatever place I get. Because that's what I've done in the past 2 or 3 times I've gone to Hawaii for a month and focused on coding my games, the Barbarian. And it was great. Just go to Starbucks every day, and then at night, just wherever Airbnb or whatever place I'm staying at, cheap places. Ah, yes. Hello, Raphael. How are you? All right. So I'm going to change the way this looks because this stacks unhealthily. So I'm going to move my end row lower to down here. And then the buttons are going to go right here. And so we will do button remove or remove from all, and do an if. And then add, and both of these will be probably 75 wide. They don't have to be super wide. And we'll adjust the colors in a second. I just want to see what it looks like. And we have to reset this. I imagine there might be a way to reset this. Let's see. This is saying null reference at 114. So it's probably this. So we could say maybe if none of that, or if that equals null, then where is my setter or whatever it is? I set item attribute drawer private void, set that in there. Do the same for the dictionary, because if this does work, then it would make sense to do it for the dictionary as well. So let's see if that works. So now, if it works, then maybe we won't have to reset it. Ooh. That's going to save so many 5 seconds here and there. Can't type. I actually could set this somewhere else, so it doesn't really need to live there. We can actually check for null drawers. this its own little method. All right. Euler angles. And while I consider myself a semi-professional, Euler angles are the easy version. In my opinion, based on my experience, rotation's hard to understand, and you don't always need it. Yeah, so if you can use Euler angles, go with that. Or is it Euler angles? I think it might be that. Forget the person's name. It's named after a person. So I hear. Okay, so it's gonna be adding and removing, and draw structure. All right. I can make this label smaller, 200, or field width. All right, and then okay. Active. We'll change that to active, not used. Active in that many. And then the button colors, background color, use count equals 0, then color dot black, otherwise color dot white, and content color, use count equals 0, color dot gray, otherwise color dot white. And then we have to reset these. And this one, if the color equals count, I'm going to cache this var count of objects of this type equals cache that. So if objects of this type, if the use count equals objects of this type, then we'll do does not equal objects of this type. Okay. Euler. There you go. Actually, I was right the first time. So if it's equal, then I will turn that button off. Otherwise, we'll have it on. And the button will do nothing otherwise. So this will be toggle all toggle attribute type for all objects of type, and attribute type is item attribute type and item object type and false. So we're going to turn it off. This is going to be toggle true. And all we're really doing here is saying for each item object in get item objects array of type item object type item object dot set can use toggle can use attribute types item attribute type and can use. So we need to make a new version of this. That has bool can use can take attribute type. So if not can use, otherwise we're adding it. So what we'll do instead is say if can use make this set can use. The set can use, then do that and return, otherwise do this. And for this one up here, if we currently can take it, then we should just call this type and false. And return, otherwise set that and true. Let's see if it works. Okay, so classes, let's just add all suffixes and then check our classes. And attributes, types, suffixes is active. Great. And then if we remove it from all, Suffixes deactivate. I should put a tooltip listing out which ones. That would be helpful. Does undo work? No. Alright, so we need to make that work. Undo.record object. This object. No. Oh shoot, where are we gonna do? We're gonna do the undo. Does that work? Undo attribute changes. Doing the whole won't let me click thing again. Or that code I added messed it up. Let's see. Yeah, all right. So this doesn't work. Well, geez, I might need some help here. I've been struggling to figure out how to get undo to work in situations like this. In this case, I'm adding to all objects via this code specifically, I suppose. Where are my buttons? And I don't... Well, let's see. I'm not sure what the object is here because there's multiple objects. Usually I would put that here, but unless I can do null. Can I do null objects? Let's see. If I can do null, then maybe that would work. These buttons don't do anything now. Whoa. Ah, ha, ha. It may not be null. Okay, well. So it can't be null. So I'm not sure how to put an undo without an object. Now, this does all of these individual objects, but I would like to do... let's see if that works. I don't think this will work. I think this is what I was getting at before, where it just doesn't work for all of them. And I don't know why. Undo. Yeah, undo does not work. Oh, or it does, and it's just really slow. What am I doing that's making this really slow? I'm probably caching things incorrectly. Oh. I did not know you could do undo groups. All right, let me come back to that because I need to fix, this is extremely slow all of a sudden. And I think I'm caching something incorrectly. And I'm up here. I think I need to put these elsewhere or something. So this would be reset only when I click one of these buttons or change the class. Move this out. That's one thing I can do, because that doesn't need to be in the for loop. Well, that should save some time. So let's see if that's enough to make it not painfully slow. I can't do the add. Okay. Now the undo is working, but let's see if it's doing it all, because that's where I got stuck before, where it wasn't actually doing it on. The undo was only doing it on one. So let's see. We have our classes. So currently there's no prefix on any of them. Let's add prefix to all of them. Check to make sure that did happen. It did happen. And then undo. Okay. Did it undo on all of them? Prefix. Seems to have undone on all of them. Let me check again. Prefix add. Undo. Okay. Seems to work. All right, so adding the undo at the point of here seems to work. But this undo group thing, undo.current group name, do a lot of stuff. Int group equals undo parent group, then do all the records. Then you do collapse undo operations. Is the collapse undo operations, that's the part that does the restore? All right, I'll have to keep that in my back pocket that this group exists, and next time I face this challenge, I will go and look into that. Slowness. Yeah, I get, oh my gosh, that's the thing about things being slow. When you're doing something over and over, it takes a lot of time. It adds up pretty quickly. Why is it so freaking cold? I get cold very easily. I went to Paris once in the winter of 1996. I was in high school and everyone was going to Paris with the marching band, and I was not in the marching band. But my girlfriend was on the flag team and they were all going to the to Paris, and my brother was in the percussion and he was going to Paris, and I wanted to go to Paris, so I joined the flag team to twirl some flags so I could go to Paris. Totally good idea. But we were supposed to do a competition in some old castle's courtyard, and you know, since every marching band had to march in, do their performance, and march out, it was freezing, snowing, blizzard almost, the coldest winter in like 30 years, we had been told. And we couldn't move while waiting our turn. We just had to wait in line in formation next to a moat in a big open field with all the wind. And our gloves were crazy thin because we had to, that's what we wore. And our clothing was not enough. And I accidentally smiled and my lips bled from cracking open. And for the rest of that school year, I had to wear gloves every day, even in the summer, because it was just too cold. My hands would go numb. And I'm pretty sure ever since then, I have not been the same. So now I just say, screw it. Life's too short. Be at the right temperature. All right, so that seems to all be working. Let's check this. Add to all, undo. Good. Remove from all, undo. Okay. And I want to do that tooltip because I think it would be helpful. Can I do a tooltip easily? This would be item attribute drawer editor. Again, get rid of all that now. So we're going to say string tooltip equals that, and then if use count string is greater than 0 and use count is greater than 0 and use count is less than objects of this type, then tooltip equals Yep. See, if you want it to be cool, make it cool. If you want it to be warm, make it warm. Or live in an area where it makes sense. I have an iMac. Let's see. Not that button. This button. This iMac. This is the top line one from last summer, with the fancy, expensive anti-glare screen, which I have to say, with my cocktail lounge LED light sign, it actually works really well. So the anti-glare screen is probably worth the $400 in my opinion now, after having used it for over a year. So that's what it is. I added the more memory, so it's 40 gigs, probably overkill, but still, it's plenty fast. I do wish the graphics cards could be better, but this is the best the Mac can do, for the iMac, of course. So we'll see what Apple comes out with in the future. I don't mind having a non-iMac like Mac Pro, but those are just freaking expensive, so I'm not going to get that. Mac Mini could work if depending on the options too. I'm not beholden to the iMac specifically, but yeah. So a tooltip would be, we need to get a list of all the item objects that use this. So it's essentially this item objects of type that can take item attribute of type. And so we'll return an array where to array. Dot. What if we just do toString? I have no idea. Let's find out. And then on this, we will add our tooltip. and nothing happens. I only agree with that it depends on the situation, because what I've done for the past few iMac generations, except for the iMac Pro, which again, too expensive, was to sell the one I just had. So for people who don't want the latest and want I'll get a discount on the last generation one, they'll pay $2,200 for this computer or more. So I end up, it's essentially almost like a lease, but I pay like $100 a month for the use of the computer, and I always have the latest computer. I always wonder if Apple would ever do what they do with the iPhone, but with their Mac, so that you could just kind of lease out the latest version of the Mac. But I think there's too much complexity there. But that's essentially what I do. So when I bought this, I think it was $4,000 or something, because of the screen cost an extra $400. I sold my last one for $2,200, so I ended up paying $1,800 for this, and now I've been using it for 14 months, 15 months, something like that. And until Apple comes out with a better one that works with all the software, because the next one's going to be the M1X or M2 or whatever, then... Oh, speaking of Apple, they bought my Dragon package, and they might use it in an upcoming advertisement campaign or presentation, and the rumors are that there's going to be one sometime in October. I can neither confirm nor deny, mostly because I don't know shit, but I do know that they bought my Dragon, and they asked specifically, and I asked them if they would put my name up there, and they said no. But if you see the Dragon in Apple's next stage presentation of their new computers, that would be pretty cool. I guess. We'll see. They could just give me a computer as a thank you. They've got money. But it's okay. They bought a multi-entity license, and that's like $225 minus 30%. So I accept it, but they do have money. We all know that. Alright, this tooltip isn't working. Why isn't this tooltip working? Tooltip. Let's find out. That's why. That's what happens when you do toString. Essentially nothing. So what we're going to do instead is going to go for each item object in that we're going to go with I guess I'll have a trailing comma, but for now we'll just do tooltip equals tooltip tool item object. Okay, do it the fancy way. Do it the fancy pants way. Equals tooltip, comma, item object dot object name. We'll have a trailing or a leading comma. I can fix that. Tooltip's not showing up though. Why isn't the tooltip showing up? I don't know. Ah, we never use it, that's why. Wait, is there no tooltip allowed on labels? Oh, this is what I gotta do. Okay. So this one will have no tooltip. This one will have a tooltip. That's already declared. There we go. Good. And it shows up if there's no string. So now in our weapon, this should say, good, a list of all the items it's active in, so you can remind yourself. That's worth all that time. That will save somebody time. It will save me time. Gotta use the restroom. Be back. All right. That's my chair, not my butt, just so you know. Sometimes my chair squeaks when I'm in meetings because the armrest goes under the desk, and I'm always worried that somebody thinks I farted, you know, during meetings. So, heads up, not farting. Although I think once somebody in a meeting did fart. Yeah. It wasn't me. All right. So add conditions. We want all weapons to have all conditions, etc. So the next step will be the individual item object. So if we look here at these, it will be these ones. So it will be a very similar look here, where you can toggle them on and off for all, or none, or some. How are we going to do that? Because similar to the types, it could be that some specific weapons can't be broken, for instance. So some special weapon might always be in pristine condition, where the rest would be all of these. And beyond repair needs to be removed because I think, or just called broken beyond repair. Something like that. See, I washed my hands and I dried them, but now they're cold and I've got them bundled up underneath my hoodie because I'm cold. I think I need to break out my space heater soon. No sense in heating the whole place when it's just my little bubble that needs to be heated. How am I going to do this? So I like the horizontal scroll of this. It keeps it more compact. However, with the need to do buttons, guess it's probably going to have to be a vertical scroll. Yeah. All right, so structure, and I'm going to put a space here, and then we will do this. That is similar to this. Do the same thing. We'll make this into a structure version. Item object type. Yeah. And we will get rid of this left check. Keep the label. Ignore that. No scroll position. No start row. No end row. No end scroll view. And then so we're only going to show the ones that have all. If it's not all, then it's not going to show. So for each and all, we will do if, so we need to get the count for this as well. We need both of these. Alright, so we're going to skip it if it's not using all. Then, no need to start a vertical or end a vertical. Or maybe there is. Start vertical box, probably. Let's try that. It's going to put a box inside this box, though, so I think I'm going to want to end the other box earlier. Right here. And I'll put the space at the top of each one instead. And then, all right. Item attributes that can be had. Item attribute array, object type equals item object type, where each item type I'm gonna change this. Let's see. What am I trying to show? I'm trying to show, let me just comment all this out, make sure that we got what we're looking for already. Okay. I am trying to show under each one of these remove that. Another list. So what I need is to know how many objects of this type have this turned on. So var object use count of this attribute equals count objects. We'll do something similar to this. Count item objects of type that can take that use item attribute specific. And this is going to be item attribute dot object name, and this is going to be another for. Just embed this for now. Can always make it better later, perhaps. Item attribute in get item attributes of type, and we're item attribute type get item attributes of type string item object or attribute type item attribute array select where object type equals item attribute type. to array. Item attribute. Where the object type, okay. That should work. And then count the number of objects that use that. Count item objects of type that use item attribute. So get item objects of type, that type, count, can take attribute type, item attribute. And this Alright, so this should give us the count of objects of this type that use this item attribute. Okay, and then, so similar to this. So really what we need is label first. Item attribute dot object name, field width, and start row and end row, and then similar to above, just copy it actually. So it's going to be not type. So toggle attribute for all objects of type. Toggle attribute for all options of type. Item objects of type that can take item attribute. Okay, so these three need to be created. So, the item attribute, toggle can use attribute. Let's see, there's got to be another one. Did we not do that? This is the... Okay. So we will do toggle can use attribute, item attribute, can take attribute type dot object type. And return. So if we can't take this type, then we just return. Otherwise, if can take attribute, item attribute, then we will remove. No. Yes. I remove all where object name equals item attribute dot object's name. Otherwise, I guess what we'll do then is do return. Otherwise, we will do item attributes dot add item attribute. No, not that. Can use attribute type, can use attribute type, can use attribute. Oh yeah, it doesn't mean it has that, it means it can use. And that's the can take attribute. toggle can take attribute. Item attribute, spell this right. So if we can take the item attribute, then remove all. Otherwise, add. And where was I doing this? Add. Toggle attribute for all objects of type. And remove. This is in the current one we're working on. Show item attributes. Attribute structure, yes. So for each object, toggle can use string set can use, and again return if we can't use the type. Otherwise, if not, can use. Otherwise, add. Or what do we do up here? You could do the opposite rotation. So whenever the parent rotation moves, add the opposite rotation to the child. You might see a slight delay, like 1 frame delay, but that's one way of doing it. So you just have to do the delta and get the delta of the parent, I suppose, and then apply the negative delta of that delta to the child. The opposite. Okay, so in this one, we did it like this. If set can use, then add the edge and return. Otherwise, do the remove all. only do that if we can't take it already. Same there. And also here, check that. And that means down here, what we can really do is say toggle can use attribute, item attribute /true. And then for this one, set it to be false. And I need to change my terminology between take and use to be use. Can use attribute. Can use attribute type take. Toggle can use take. Oops. Find take. Nope. Find take. Okay. Errors. This is in the one we're working on. Toggle attribute for all objects of type. Attribute. Then item objects of type that can use item attribute. Count item objects of type that can use first or default x dot object name equals that. If not found, return false. Otherwise return true. So we could just say then return this, or return question mark fact. No? Ah, I guess that works. Okay. Oh, undo. I should write myself some comments. So can use will check whether the type of the item attribute can be used. Has attribute will check whether this attribute is toggled on. Objects of type that have item attribute. Where has attribute to array. Let's just see what happens. Okay. Slow as molasses in the winter. Too many lynxes, I think. And some other things. doing too many link calls, and that's slowing this down big time. But I do want to show the information. So I need to cache this information. All right, so let's see if we can do that cache. I don't have a method for that yet. So we will create one. Private void cache. Let's see, what do we want to cache? Various things. So I want to cache whether or not I should redo this. So we're going to say if show item attributes structure. Okay. Cached item object type equals that. So if that does not equal that, then we will cache it and say that this does equal that. Okay, so only if item object type changes up here will we redo that. Oh, parent constraint. What does that do? Each item get item types. We're going to change this to for int I equals 0, I is less than get item attribute types. We're going to cache that. String item attribute types equals that. So not to array length I plus plus and item attribute type equals types I. All right. And So we'll only update this if the object changes too. But I just made the music more exciting last night. You should have heard before. Before, it was all quiet music. So this one's really exciting compared to that. So when we update this, we can also update this. So for I or C equals 0 and C equals 0, C is less than item attribute types dot count C plus plus. Item object use counts equals C. T. All right, so now we've cached those. There's more we could probably do, but let's see if it works. Slash fat, is it fat? Oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Count item objects of type that can take item attribute type. Need to make this. Maybe that's it. That was not it. Oh, instead of doing that there, I will do it here. Item objects this dot count or equals new list int of no parameters and item object use counts dot count equals item attribute types dot count. Nope, can't do it like that. How do you set a list of a specific count? 83, create list of specific count. Go. No, that's not it. Oh, kind of is. To add. Let's see. Get back over here. Seems to be working now. It seems to still be slow. So let's cache some more. Item attribute and get item attributes of type. Oh, we have to make use of these. Get item attributes of type. Get item attribute types. So we need another one of these. Item attributes of type. So for each type, we also need to do item attributes of type that add item attribute types C and also C.to list. .to list over here. And then we will look that up. T dot so this dictionary get value T. Try get value. Key is item attribute type. You get content from the dictionary again, like that. Okay. Okay, we'll see if that speeds it up. Or gives an error. Let's check something. Debug.log, doing cache actions. This should only happen once, but I wonder if it's happening a lot. Okay, so it is only happening once. If I change this to class, it happens again. But it's just slow still. Too slow. Now we need to do this one. Count item objects of type that can use item attribute. Item attribute, item object count can use item attribute. Sorry, I think I just only want to do it like this now. Let me change it up. Or actually, let me just make sure that is this that's causing the slowdown. That's the first thing. Should change up the way I do this one. Let me think. It's getting warmer outside. All right, 68 outside. Let's see. Still somewhat slow, and it's much faster when I'm not doing all this other junk, but let's see. I think I did use the cache. I think it's just there's another bit of the cache that I need to do, and that's this one. That's my thinking. So I wanted to isolate that and then see if that changes things. So that definitely seems to have an impact. Just undo and confirm. Yeah, so this has an impact. But the thing is, I didn't want to cache this much stuff. It's like caching dictionaries of stuff and all this. That's this, essentially. So for each type, it's like a dictionary and a dictionary needed here. Okay, let's try it. All right, I think I made this correctly. And I'm wrong. Let's see. Item with the same key. Move those out of this loop. Okay, we'll see if that works. Okay, it's definitely faster. Do I have any other? Yes, this one. Private. This is going to be item. I have this item attribute. So it's going to be an array of item objects based on the type. So it's another dictionary with a dictionary. It'd be new dictionary of string object type. New dictionary string item object array. An object array dictionary. I'm not naming these properly. Just trying to get through it first. So I'll do a similar thing here. So you need to put that array in for attribute. So it's actually just a string for the item attribute and then the objects. Okay, so then you could probably do that here. Add key is item attribute object name, and then the value is that. Then the use case down here will be item objects equals that item attribute dot object name. All right, well, it's not as slow as before, and I think I am now caching everything in this. This code is wrong though because it's not doing that right. Can use count of this attribute is greater than 0. Objects of this type is incorrect. Use count. Okay, so I've got that properly. And then use count, item object use count t. What do we have printing out? All right, so that's correct. So why is it giving us item object use counts? Item object use counts. That's in type. Use count of this attribute. Oh, that's what I should be checking that. Okay. So that's printing out right. Use count of this attribute. Active in use count of this attribute is above 0. You don't use count string. There we go. Okay. Now if I go to one of my weapons, and say dagger now can't be that's too slow and it's not working. Interesting. This is not even showing the correct stuff now. All right, I'm gonna take a break. It's been 3 hours, 30 minutes since I started. I need to take a break. My brain needs a rest. My belly needs some food. I'm going to make some curry. The sauce is pre-made, so it's just really microwaving stuff. But I will be back later tonight or this evening. Probably I will eat, go for a walk, get some fresh air, and then come back and try to figure this out. For some reason, these aren't turning on. They're turning off, but they don't turn back on. And I don't know why. And this is not printing out the correct stuff. So, and it's all very slow. So there's stuff to do. You're welcome. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you later. Watch the Discord for the updates of when I do that. It's probably going to be this evening, but watch the Discord, join the Discord, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day or night.